cards right. Come on and get your game on.
この番組はコナミとご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りします。
You ever go to start something and then realize your feelings on it are much more complicated than you thought, so you spend a couple of months making random shitpost nonsense while putting off the thing you were supposed to be working on? The Vision Heroes were the manga deck of Aster Phoenix and the equivalent of his iconic Destiny Heroes, which apparently still haven't had enough new support cards, thanks Konami. In the manga, they were essentially a new spin on the idea pioneered by the fan-favorite Crystal Beasts, able to show up in the spell and trap card zone to be utilized as play enablers or cost for various other wacky effects. The Vision Heroes are something of a companion to the Mask Heroes, not only debuting alongside them in the manga, but also in the same core booster set in the actual game. I was actually really excited to see these cards made when I was a kid, since their whole concept just seemed so interesting for a hero archetype. Of course, while their concept within the manga was fairly consistent among their lineup, when brought over to the actual game, Vision Heroes ended up with some of the most erratic card design that the hero family has ever seen. I'm going to be breaking these cards into two groups, their initial releases that completely abandoned the manga playstyle, and then the second waves that came out years later that chose to embrace it. Our first card is Vision Hero Adoration. He's a level 8 Dark Warrior fusion monster with 2800 attack and 2100 defense. He requires 2 hero monsters, and once per turn, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls and one other hero monster you control. The opponent's monster loses attack and defense equal to the attack of your monster until the end phase. Adoration is a pretty good card all around. He was the second ever generic material hero fusion after Absolute Zero, and technically is the most versatile in requirements in the entire archetype. That alone makes him a pretty good safety net for mixed variants, even if his predictably boring attack manipulation effect is pretty much what you'd expect from a modern hero fusion these days. Next, we have Vision Hero Trinity. He's a level 8 Dark Warrior fusion with 2500 attack and 2000 defense. He requires 3 hero monsters, and after he's fusion summoned for the rest of that turn, this card's attack becomes double its original attack. This fusion summon card can make a second and third attack during each battle phase, but cannot attack directly. This one's okay. I never cared for it much personally, but that's more down to personal preference. I guess I just don't have much fun with OTK enablers, of which this is a pretty solid option. It's still run in modern hero decks today, again for its generic materials and being able to squeeze out a win against the right board, but funny enough, Trinity is one of the only triple hero fusions in the game, and the only one that isn't an elemental hero. Now, if you're wondering why I did the extra deck monsters first, then you should really be asking Konami why they decided to release them first, and completely alone at that. They were obviously done this way for the sake of being made generic extra deck support, similar to how they did Mask Heroes at the time. Thankfully, they broke this trend the next time they decided to dust this archetype off with our next pair of cards. Vision Hero Vion is a level 4 Dark Warrior monster with 1000 attack and 1200 defense. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can send one hero monster from your deck to the graveyard. You can only use this effect of Vion once per turn. Once per turn, you can banish one hero monster from your graveyard and add one Polymerization from your deck to your hand. Ah yes, the edgy little brother of Blazeman. Vion became an almost instant staple in nearly all variations of mixed hero decks, giving you an instant setup for a fusion summon, even if the options you could use with him were fairly limited at the time. Less impactful though was Vision Hero Witch Raider. She's a level 8 Dark Warrior with 2700 attack and 1900 defense, and to tribute summon this card face up, you can tribute trap cards you control as well as monsters. When this card is normal summoned, you can destroy all spell and traps your opponent controls. You cannot special summon monsters during the turn you activate this effect, except hero monsters. Well, they tried to adapt this one decently. You can see them starting to sway closer to the actual mechanic the archetype was intended to have with the tribute effect, but they weren't quite ready to commit to actually giving her the full default effect package yet. Then I guess she didn't have it in the manga either, so... Not that would have made her that much better, but I guess that tends to be the fate of all hero monsters that require tribute summons. Now we can get to the actual mechanic that made the deck so interesting to younger me in the first place. These ones all share a basic effect package that I will only read to you once for the sake of brevity. Vision Hero Increase is a level 3 Dark Warrior with 900 attack and 1100 defense. If you take battle or effect damage while this card is in your graveyard, you can place this card from your graveyard in your spell and trap card zone as a face-up continuous trap. During the main phase, if this card is treated as a continuous trap, you contribute one hero monster, special summon this card. If this card is special summoned from the spell and trap zone, you can special summon one level 4 or lower Vision Hero monster from your deck. You can only use each effective Vision Hero increase once per turn. Increase is really the most important cog in making this deck anything at all. It's by far got the best on-summon effect out of all the monsters that share the spell and trap mechanic, and thankfully combos well with the heavily altered Vion. This card also sees a lot of competitive variant play because of how easily you can do that multiple times in a duel, making it a definitive must in any Vision-centric build. And we unfortunately have an immediate downgrade with Vision Hero Multiply Guy. He's a level 3 Dark Warrior with 800 attack and 700 defense. He's got the generic Mask Hero effect package, and when he's special summoned, you can make one face-up monster on the field gain 800 attack. Tell me, what is so multiply about this guy? This must be the most unfitting name to effect relation out of any Yu-Gi-Oh card. I think we've done it. I think we've quite possibly found the single worst hero support card in existence. Also, is this the only card in the whole game that kept the trend of ending Aster's monsters with Guy? Weird. Well, we might actually have a contender for worst support card, because next up is Vision Hero Poisoner. He's a level 3 Dark Warrior with 900 attack and 700 defense, and his special summon effect is that you can have the attack of one face-up monster on the field. This is basically the same terrible effect that Multiply Guy had, but different. I guess in some cases it's more useful, but this isn't 2008 anymore, and Gale the Whirlwind hasn't been a relevant card to base your effects on for a very, very long time. Thankfully, we get a bit of a step up with Vision Hero Minimum Ray. He's a level 3 Dark Warrior with 1200 attack and 700 defense, and his special summon effect is you can destroy one level 4 or lower monster your opponent controls. Well, this is a step up. In the same way that breaking a finger is better than breaking an arm. Sure, you can destroy one level 4 or lower, but would it really be so much to ask for just a generic pop one card on the field effect, or even just any monster? In fact, that is what it did in the manga. This released in 2019, and they seriously thought it needed extra restrictions on an effect that was commonplace on cards by 2012. The next two cards don't have the typical effect package, but they do still support the playstyle. Vision Hero Gravido is a level 4 Dark Warrior with 500 attack and 2000 defense. If this card is normal special summoned, you can target one of your banished hero monsters and add it to your hand. You contribute this card, then target 2 Vision Hero monsters in your spell and trap card zone and special summon them. You can only use each effect of Gravido once per turn. There we go, an honest to goodness second good card in this wave. Grabbing a banished monster is a great effect for heroes, and being able to float himself into 2 other monsters to trigger their effects and actually go into a Link or XYZ play is really handy. This one is actually playable, I can't believe it. Our last monster is Vision Hero FARIS. He's a level 5 Dark Warrior with 1600 attack and 1800 defense, and you can discard one other hero monster to special summon him from your hand. If he's normal special summoned, you can place one Vision Hero from your deck except FARIS in your spell and trap card zone as a trap card. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except hero monsters, and you can only use each effect of FARIS once per turn. The third and final card in what is commonly known as the Vision Hero Engine. This thing sets up all your Vision Heroes with their effects instantly, and doesn't even cost you your normal summon. The most optimal way to use it is obviously with Increase to bring out Vion, thinning your deck down considerably and generating a ton of advantage. This card is genuinely a Stratos level good monster. We only have a handful of spell and trap support, so let's not waste any time and just wrap this up already. Vision Release is a normal spell, and it reads, target one Vision Hero monster card in your spell and trap card zone and special summon it. During your main phase, except during the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one Vision Hero monster in your graveyard to add it to your hand. Not bad. It helps facilitate what the archetype does, not dissimilar to some Dragunity support cards actually, and gives you a decent recovery bonus later on. You're not going to see it in a competitive variant or anything, but it's fine. Vision Fusion is a normal spell, and it reads, fusion summon one hero fusion monster from your extra deck using materials from your hand or field as material, but you could also use 2 monsters in your spell and trap card zone that are being treated as trap cards as materials too, but only by banishing them. You can only activate 1 Vision Fusion per turn. This is actually a pretty decent polymerization substitute for this archetype. If it weren't for the fact that it's completely non-searchable by every single hero card in the game, even the one from its intended archetype, overall, you're probably not going to see this one in any modern mixed hero deck or much of anything competitive wise, but it's fine. Our only trap card, and the last card we have to talk about today, is Apparition. It's a normal trap and reads, if a face-up hero monster you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon a level 4 lower vision hero from your deck. Then you can have the original attack and defense of one monster your opponent controls, and you can only activate one copy per turn. It's just another Hero Signal variant. To be fair, it's a better Hero Signal variant than Hero Signal, but it's still just Hero Signal. A card that has unfortunately been way too slow to function effectively for a very long time. Look at it this way, at least we didn't get the other 3 terrible variants of it from the manga. What's there to say about Vision Heroes? They're a mess, quite frankly. They have some of the best cards out of every hero archetype put together, and also some of the most unplayable nonsense I've covered so far. And that's counting things like Goka, Dread Servant, Infernal Gainer, and freaking Neo Bubble Man. This is an archetype that has consistently frustrated me for a very long time. Because not only did it take nearly a decade for them to deliver on the mechanic I thought made them interesting in the first place, but were almost all completely unplayable by then. The ones that are playable are genuinely fantastic, but they're not even used to facilitate their own deck theme, just as support for generic mixed hero decks. Hell, arguably the best one in the game doesn't even have the archetypal effect. This is starting to feel like my Legendary Planets video again. If you want further discussion on how this was a reoccurring theme from cards in the GX manga, I suggest you give that one a watch. When you get right down to it, the fact that Vision Heroes are remembered more for being a 3-card engine than actually being an honest-to-God archetype speaks more to their squandered potential than I ever could. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I had to re-record this one multiple times. I even had this one interrupted a couple of times, and you can probably even tell there are parts of the audio that are choppier than others because I had to reset up everything and I had people making noise in the background, but I just finally wanted to get this done. Because I was very sick of having to re-record it and say these lines over and over. I guess this is near the end, so join me next time for the series finale of start to finish A History of Hero. Have a great day, and even better tomorrow, and remember to get your game on!